Sound Theory Kraftur has been out for a little while now, and I've been getting questions on why I didn't make a video about it. And some people thought that the plugin simply wasn't interesting enough. Some people thought there were other reasons. But the actual reason is just time. I didn't have the time to do it. And actually at this moment I'm in my pre-holiday rush to film enough videos for my holiday. So yeah, let's get started. Kraftur, drive your sound. Kraftur has been carefully engineered to enrich your mix, allowing you to increase power while preserving the original integrity of its dynamics. Parallel processing then? Using new proprietary DSP models, Kraftur relies on innovative algorithms to avoid artifacts that come with more traditional approaches to soft clipping. So it's a clipper. Kraftur can also add clarity point. Okay, so it's a color maker then. As expected from Sound Theory, Kraftur has some unique features. I do expect uniqueness from Sound Theory, since they only make 2 products. They've got Kraftur and Gullfoss. So yeah, they've got enough time to make unique stuff. Minimized aliasing and intermodulation distortion due to unique oversampling and DSP algorithms. This here, when it comes to clipping, is a huge issue. So the problem with clipping is that it's basically something that isn't allowed to exist in the digital domain. So when we are sampling in 48 kilohertz, our mathematical maximum frequency is 24 kilohertz, so half of the sampling rate. So 48 kilohertz sampling rate, 24 kilohertz Nyquist frequency. When we are recording something, we make sure that we are not recording signals above 24 kilohertz. The way that this is being dealt with, because the analog domain basically has an infinite amount of frequency range. I mean, there's a certain point where like even the analog domain has limitations. Anyway, in an AD converter, there is a filter built in. So that filter basically looks like this. So let's say that this is 20 hertz, is 24 kilohertz, and this is 20k. So like this. Then we have a filter that looks like this. So what they try to do in the AD converter, so the analog to digital step that you are taking, I know we're not talking about the plugin, but I'll get to that in a second. So what they try to do is get to at least 20 kilohertz before filtering. Some converters actually start a bit earlier with filtering. Some will start a bit later with filtering, like they will go like this. Whatever. And they do that filtering before converting it to the 48 kilohertz PCM signal, because they want to create a signal that, as they call it, passes the band limiting requirement. So the band limiting requirement is basically making sure that no signal above 24 kilohertz exists. Because if samples exist that have been sampled from a signal higher than that, it won't be converted back to the same signal. It won't be accurate anymore. You'll get something called aliasing. Now, these filters on itself are a super interesting topic, and it isn't as simple as just filtering and making a decision there, because you can go for like a slower filter, one with less dB per octave cutoff. But the problem is that you have to start filtering earlier within the hearable range, probably, in order to get enough attenuation at your Nyquist frequency. So that's a problem because you're removing high frequencies. You can go for a steep filter, of course, but the steep filter has issues with ringing and other design issues. There's actually a super interesting video I did about that. I'll link it over here. Boom! In the corner. We do that filtering, but we do that from the analog domain, and we can use analog filters and digital oversampling filters in there, like special chips made for that type of filtering, but they do it in a digital way, but on like a ridiculous high sample rate, so that they can actually filter this. Super complicated stuff actually. Now when we use a plugin and we want to do clipping, what is going to happen to our signal is, so let's say that this is our center line. We've got our top line and our bottom line here. So let's say that these lines are the maximum that our waveform can be. So if we are going to clip, waveform goes up, it hits here. So actually the waveform would be this. Let's just draw it like it would be in the analog domain, so like this. but then it clips over here. So we're missing this part, like it cuts off this part of the waveform. And the waveform actually is going to be this. It's going to be this. Like, this is going to be our actual waveform. Like, cut it off here. You can actually just do that. Now let's play the I'm a converter game. And I'm going to sample a few places of this waveform over here. We're sampling all these points. Of course, in a real converter, this is not like this, but I want to illustrate something here. What we now get is something super weird, because the samples we have over here are not allowed to exist because they do not pass the band limiting requirement. If we would ask a DA converter to convert this, it would make something different from this. It would look like this. It's not necessarily wrong, but it would look different. It would look like this. Like, it will make a frequency out of those samples that actually do, and it will actually overshoot a little bit as well. So it would actually be something like this. So let's correct that over here as well. Like that. It would look something like that. And the reason for that is because it wants to create a signal from these samples, and because they're all at the same value, it assumes it is a super high frequency within the band limiting requirement. So that's what it's doing, and it's doing this with filtering as well. Again, quite complicated stuff. If you clip something in the analog domain, it can actually capture all the audio signal before it gets digital with a filter, so the clipping will sound way more natural. If you do this digitally, you get digital clipping and a whole lot of weird stuff will happen. So if those samples are still in your master, some very unexpected stuff will happen. Another interesting thing that happens with distortion. So clipping is of course a form of distortion, but let's say we have 24 kilohertz over here, 20 hertz over here, and like we've got a tone here at like 10k. So we've got a frequency here. If we would saturate that frequency with like harmonic saturation on even harmonics, the next frequency would be 20k. So it would be somewhere over here. That would still pass the band limiting requirement. But the next frequency, 40k, like let's say 40k over here, is outside our band limiting. Like this is everything that we have. So this frequency cannot exist. In the analog domain it would exist here and the filters would remove it, but in the digital domain we can only see this signal. We cannot see this signal. So what happens is that 40k signal will actually fold back into the audio. And I'm actually explaining this in a bit older video. I'll link that one over here as well. But this is also a super interesting artifact. And you know, dealing with this saturation stuff is already difficult. But when it gets to clipping, as I just demoed, you basically need infinite amount of oversampling. So yeah, circling back to the plugin, this is a very difficult job to get right. Another feature, state-of-the-art match mode that dynamically compensates for loudness so you can hear what Kraftur is adding to your sound without fooling your ears. So that's basically auto gain. Sound Theory's new vision tone color rendering pipeline based on human perception. Whatever the crap that may mean. So it's quite a daunting user interface. I just want to stop talking and start checking this thing out. So we've got our triangular control here, single, multi, whatever, low shift, mid shift, high shift. We've got our a thing here. Let's try it out. Match. Let's select match so that at least we're not fooled by our ears. I don't think it's doing anything right now. I think I need to drive it more. Yeah, there we go. Oh, yeah. Okay, what's this? Oh, that's our soft clip knee. Yeah, of course, it's soft clipping. Yeah. Yeah, of course. Look at this graphic. That graphic can actually help with understanding this curve. Like this goes there, like kinda. I don't know. Multi. Interesting. Oh. That's actually a really cool control to be able to combine a bit of single band and a bit of multi-band clipping. I already like it just because of the controls. I solo these or something? Listen to the... Oh, wait a second. Let's just... Okay. Oh, this is our crossover. Now we're soloing. Okay. So solo is over here. Let's go to... I really like multiband distortion. Multiband distortion is something that is like super difficult to create in the analog domain, but digitally, it's such a help. Like, whenever I'm using digital distortion, it's usually multiband distortion because you get so much control over your sound. All right. What I want to try now. Ah, yeah, okay. Yeah, I got it. So these two settings, they do really determine the sound character. Of course, our high band, the most difficult band to get right when it comes to these distortion things, because the harmonics will be way higher. It's a higher frequency in, is way higher frequency out. Look at how heavy I'm actually limiting or something. Like, oh, that match thing is really playing a bit with our levels here. So turn off the match before you are going to bounce or something, or before you go to mix. This is really for comparison. Comparison. So we're doing an electronic track now, because if you do clipping right on electronic music, you can make it way louder. And since that's something that apparently in electronic music is still very important. Oh? Overdoing it a little bit now, but... Drive a little bit more. This works so much better than compression. When you want to create some energy, like, yeah, their marketing material actually onto something. Oh, let's use the bypass. Of course, this is a bit too much, and fine-tuning is everything, but... This is... Okay. Another track. And color as well, like, it's not that the clipping stuff that you normally get from it. It's not really a clip. It's a clipper but not a clipper. It's a soft clipper but not a soft clipper. It's a color box but not a color box. It's nothing like... Ah. It's doing multiple things that are woven into each other, like coloring and compression, you know, doing stuff with the dynamic range. And because it's doing it like that, it actually sounds nice. Like with a normal compressor, you're not getting anything extra. With this, you're getting color from the compression that is happening. Oh, cool stuff. It's a super interesting combination of several things, probably caused by one process that's going on, soft clipping, hard clipping. What I found interesting thing is I just did a plugin doctor test, and I can see some aliasing in there. Like, depending on how you drive it, it will alias. The weird thing is, and this is a thing I don't understand, and maybe somebody with more knowledge can comment down below. Aliasing, to me, has a certain sound, definitely on higher pitched frequencies, definitely on tonal instruments or certain percussion instruments. It really has a certain unpleasant sound. I'm not hearing that in this plugin, so my ears do not agree with what I'm seeing. So I don't know what's going on there. If I would have more information about that, I will make a new video about it. But I see some aliasing. Maybe aliasing is not enough to be able to hear it. Other plugins probably alias more. I don't know. On the other hand, when hard clipping, you basically cannot avoid aliasing in the box. I haven't heard of any techniques that can avoid that for the time being. So I don't know. Anyway, Kraftur by Sound Theory, definitely a plugin to check out because it's a super color box tool. It's not a tool that I can really put in a box like, okay, this is it. It's a clipper, but it's not a clipper. It's a compressor, but it's not a compressor. It's a limiter, but not a limiter. It's everything but nothing, and because of that, it's very unique. So, it's not on Plugin Boutique, so I'm going to link directly to Sound Theory in the description down below. If there will ever be an affiliate link available, I will of course change it and put it in brackets. This video was not sponsored by Sound Theory, and my videos are being sponsored by the community. So if you want to support me, make sure to check out my general affiliate links, Tone One, Sweetwater and Plugin Boutique. If you want to do a purchase and do that through my affiliate link, you're not paying anything extra for the thing that you're purchasing, but you are supporting the channel because they will give me a small kickback fee on that sale. So yeah, make sure to use those affiliate links if you want this channel to stay independent. Another way to support me is by becoming a channel member. Channel members get early access to videos and access to some exclusive behind the scenes content. I'll link an insync playlist over here. Another way to support me is by watching more videos, so I'll link an insync video over here. Thanks for watching, keep pushing, and bye bye.